Today we're going to learn how to offset factor in different curved lines to create all these animations. So let's see. Let's delete the camera, go to Geometry Nodes, and let's create a new profile. I'm going to close this, and maybe later we're going to use it. First of all, let's use a simple curved line. And we are going to add more lines to this line. So we have here the line, and let's set it something like this. For example, -2, 2, 0. Okay, now what I want is to add more lines here. So let's use instance on points, and let's add a simple curved line. So now we have 2 lines in this line. I want more lines, so let's use resample curve. I'm going to select 5 for now. And I want these lines in this direction. So let's select -2, 2, 0. So we have 5 lines in a curved line. Perfect. Now, let's give a mesh, curve to mesh, and let's use curve cycle. Let's select something like 0.2, and let's close the caps. So we have this for now. I'm going to set this view. And now what I want is to make like energy going in this direction in every line. And later I want to offset, to control the offset of this energy. So first of all, let's add a material with set material. Let's select the default material, and let's select this view. So let's go to the shade editor. Let's press N to hide this. And now what I want is to create like a pulse energy. So what we have to do is to get, first of all, the factor. So we have to go here, because this is the curved line that we are repeating in every instance. So here we have to get store name attribute, and let's write factor, and let's use factor. Remember, factor goes from 0 to 1. So it's the start and the end information of one curve. Okay, so now let's send this to here. So let's use attribute node. And let's connect here. And let's write the same word, factor. So now as you can see, this is connected. And here is black and here white. So we have the factor here. Perfect. Now let's improve this, making black at the start and at the end. So let's use a color ramp. Now it's the same. Here we can push the black, as you can see. And what I want, to make it more visible, what I'm going to do is to connect it to alpha. And let's press N. I'm going to save this because I think it's faster. And what I want is to also connect it to emission, so we can see better these colors, this line, and make it bright. Let's activate here in compositor always, and let's go to compositor, activate this, and let's add some glare to add some glow. So glare, and let's use, for example, this one. Okay, let's come back to shade editor. Now we have this. So here you can see I can push the black and the white. I'm going to select ease because I like more the transition. Now, what I say before is that I want black here, and here in the middle, more bright. So let's add a new stop, and let's select pure white, and here pure black. So we have this. Perfect. Now, if you want to animate this, we have to add here a math node. And with this, we can push this line. So if we start in 1, it's like hiding. And now, if we decrease this, we can animate this light, this trail, in the curved lines. Remember, we have curved lines, as you can see. So basically, we are just projecting light. I'm going to use blue because it's my favorite color and I like it more. And let's make it more bright. Okay, so we know how to do this. And now the question is, how I can delay this? So offset. So for example, the second goes after the first. So this one first, second, third, etc. So how we can do this? So to do this, what we have to do is to get the index of every instance and use it here. So where we get the index? We could get the index of the points because we have 5 points and it's the same, but let's do it here because it's easier. So we have 5 instances, as you can see, and we want to get the index of this instance. So let's use again a store name attribute, and we are going to use index. Let's write here index, and really important, we are working with instance. So here, select instance. Now we can use this information here to offset this. But how? What we are going to do is here to use a math node, and let's use another math node. Why? Because I need to connect here index, and this will be the offset, because if I only use this, then we cannot animate this. Don't worry, now you understand. So this will be to animate, okay? As you can see, this will be the main control. Okay, and here we need to bring this information. So let's copy again this and connect it here. This will be the instance index, and here, very important, select index. And now if we try to play with this, as you can see, it's not working. It's like the same. Why? First of all, because we need to select multiply. So the number will be multiplied and every instance will have a different offset. However, it's still not working. Why? Because we are working with instance. So here, really important, you need to select instancer. And now it should work. Yes. So as you can see, now, look, it's working perfectly. So how this works? First of all, if you select 0, it's not going to work, because if you multiply the index by 0, all they have the same number. So this will be the offset, okay? Offset. So if you want to offset this energy, these trails, you need to increase this number. Look, as you can see, more I increase this number, I'm making the others, so this is the first one, appear later. And here I can animate this, as you can see. By the way, we are going to add a driver here. Let's use a single value, and let's write something like frame divided by 80, for example. And let's see how fast it is. Okay, I want in the other direction, so let's make it negative. And now let's use the timeline, because we want to see animation. So we have this animation, we can make it faster, don't worry. Now another tip, how we can make these objects, so the trail appears again, and not only once. So to do this, what we have to do, let me clean this, is to add after here, so after the animation, another math node, and select fraction. So fraction is to repeat the cycle. So now, if we press play, you can see that it's repeating the line, the factor. And you can make this faster if you want, for example, 50. And we have this. By the way, remember here, we can start playing with the values. So this is the number of lines. And we can add more, as you can see. Let's select, for example, 20. And now we have this effect because we are repeating with a fraction every trail and is creating this wave. Remember, here we have the factor. So you can see I can play with the factor to have different patterns, different effects. So if we select 1, it's the same. And as you can see, I think every one value is like one cycle. So I recommend you to play between 0 and 1. Let me select 2 to confirm this. Yeah. And if I select 3, it's the same. Yeah. So between 0 and 1, you can offset this as you want. And if you make it negative, you are making, for example, a star. Let me select less so you can see better. If I select, for example, something like this, we are making a star first, the last instance. As you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And if I increase this, you can see better. So basically, the main point of this tutorial is how to offset the factor when you have a lot of curve instance. And if you want to learn more tricks, what we can do is to, instead of using fraction, use this one. So with this one, instead of repeating every one value, we can increase or decrease how many times we want to repeat this. So if I select 1, it's the same. I'm going to select 5 so you can see better. Every one value is repeating again. If you select 2, that means it's the same, but it appears every 2 values. So think like it takes twice of the time to appear. If you select 3, 3. So it takes more time to appear. I'm going to make this positive, 0.2. So as you can see now, it takes more time to appear because we are increasing this number. So if you want that this repeat faster, then select something less than 1. For example, 0.5. So now look at the difference between one value and before. We are saying that inside one value, we want 2 trails. So if you want to see it better, think like this is one value. So this is one value. And if we select 0.5, we are saying that in one value, we want that appear every 0.5. So we have 2 trails in one value. If you want 3 trails in one value, let's divide 1 by 3. So now we have 3. If you want more, you decrease this and you get it there, right? So you can play to create this effect. And here you can add more lines. And you can do a lot of patterns. By the way, now we lost a bit of the glow. And I think because we are making this smaller. So what you can do, I think, if you add a multiply here. Let me connect this here again. And I think if you multiply this, we can increase the glow. Yes, as you can see, this will help you to increase the glow if we lose it. By the way, I just noticed that if we connect this after that, we are losing the color information, so it gets again black and white. So to solve this, what we can use is to use a multiply but with vector. So let's delete this and let's use a vector math and add it here. Very important, connect this here. So now we don't lose the color information, as you can see. Before that was gray. And you can use multiply and increase this. Or if you don't want so many controls, then use a scale. That is the same. And with one single value, we can increase the glow without losing the color. Because here, we still have the information of the color, of this cologram. But this is just important if you decrease a lot this. Because if you don't use this, and you use, for example, 1, then you need to decrease this, as you can see. I'm going to leave it in 0.333. And now, what more we can do? So remember that this is repeater, and here remember we can offset this. So you can play with these values to create really cool effects, as you can see, with offset. And more things that you can do now that you know how this works is, instead of doing this, so having, where is all the lines? Let me check. Having all these lines, you can change the pattern. For example, what we can do is to, I'm going to save this, is to use, for example, a curve cycle. So if we add a curve cycle here, we have in a curve cycle, so we have this pattern, and in every point we are instancing these lines. However, now we need to make these lines go out. So we need to go here in rotation and use align rotation to vector and select curve tangent and select, I think, this one. So now we have this design, and look the really cool effect that we achieve. Going to make the background dark here, and look at this effect. Okay, now it's going to this direction. So what I want is to, I know what's happening because this is in -2. So we need to select 0. And remember, this is the length of these lines. So, for example, we can make it shorter if you want, from here. Or you can do this effect if you want. It is crazy. Actually, I really like this, but I'm going to make it thinner, maybe 1. And look at this effect. It's crazy. But if you don't want this effect, then don't use a negative number, or just increase this. Or simply, what you can do, I forgot, you can increase the radius of the original cycle. Remember, we have a curve cycle. Now we cannot see it. Let me preview it. I see what's happening because we are instancing from here to here. But what we can do is to make it like this. So what we have to do is to just move this, for example. Let's do it like that. And I think it's easier to control these lines. So now, as you can see, we can control with the radius of this curve cycle the size of these lines. And now we have this really cool effect, as you can see. I'm going to make it smaller. And look how cool it looks. And you can add more lines if you want. Here, this is the number of lines now. So we can decrease this or add more lines and make this crazy effect. And remember, here we can offset this. So if we say 1, whoa, that's crazy. So actually 1 is not really on full cycle. I think maybe it's because we play with that. If we say 1, yes, it's working normal. Okay, let's decrease the number of this. If not, we're going to be crazy. So yeah, with this, as you can see, we can create this really cool effect. At these waves is because every instance have a different offset. So as you can see, we can do a lot of things. One, we know how to play with the factor of every curve line. So I recommend you to play and try to create as many patterns as you want. I think I will leave it like that. I'm going to add here an integer so you can remember that this is the number of lines. Another tip, if you want to make the end thinner and you don't want to see like this, what we can do is before all this, before converting to mesh, use set curve radius and make the star thinner. So this is the radius of the curve, as you can see, and we can use the spline parameter factor. And now the end is thinner, and I want the opposite. So what I want is this, thinner. So let's use float curve, add it here, and let's change this. So now, as you can see, this part is thinner than this part. So I think it looks better. Maybe with the render, with the preview, you cannot see it, but it looks really cool. I'm going to add more. And I'm going to do it like that. So if you want to see this project, you have it on my Patreon. And if you like this video, give a like, subscribe, and remember you can do this project and many more and watch exclusive tutorials on my Patreon. And see you in the next video.